I always liked drawing and I always liked art and I always did it in the margins. I never had a sketchbook, so when I got sober last year and did not know what to do with myself, I decided to go to Blick and buy myself a sketchbook, and I decided that I would draw every day. And it kind of started out like I was practicing and I knew how to draw. So I started drawing my day to day and little ideas that I had, or however I was feeling about something. It would kind of come out in a cartoon character or a monster. And it kind of reads like a diary now. I didn't realize how personal it would get. And I had taken some notes in it, but I can tell what I was thinking and what I was going through when I look at the pages of the sketchbook. And it was hard to get over not making perfect drawings, but I would take photos of things around the city to practice drawing proportion and movement and things like that, but I mostly drew my life and my memories. I feel like that's a big reason to get a sketchbook because it's so fun to look at the drawings and see your style change, but also see how your emotions come through in what you're drawing. And it's kind of special. I wish I did this sooner. I've been doing regular journaling for so long, and I think there's a lot of value in drawing out your day to day. And it's not even always realistic to what you're going through in that moment, but it's like a representation, and it's really fun. I went back to a lot of the pages and added color, and I really wish that I didn't do that. I would have liked to have kept this preserved as it was, but now I know moving forward. This was from memory, girls at Boulangerie talking. And then this saying, no, yeah, he's so unoriginal, to be honest, so fucking boring. That's just like a theme that was bothering me, and drawing it out on paper actually really helped. Yep, this little doodly girl. I really do love the loopy, ruffly outfits on my people. I'm always drawing those. This was me when I quit nicotine. Would you quit this week? She said, Sigs, I'm wondering what my ex is doing. This was from a photo reference, which I've kind of gotten away from. And then a self-portrait, which I obviously do a lot of. And that's the view from my bedroom to my living room at my old apartment in Nolita. Little cartoon giving tree. Just I was forcing myself to draw that day. And me, the time that I wore a raccoon hat out and then I wore it the whole next day hungover. Me flaking on my dinner reservation, crying in bed. And that's the dinner res in question. Pretty representative of my New York experience the last few months I lived there. That's my two drawing styles, the wispy and the cartoon, and then that's my friend. Hideous, we don't need to talk about that. This is a self-portrait from when I was starving myself. And then there's a picnic with no food. This is a commentary on situationships. It's a girl holding a guy with a glove saying he seems fine to date temporarily, and then a guy discarding a girl into a Venus flytrap. This was me at work when I really didn't want to work there anymore, and you can see the emotion, what I'd rather be doing. And then I'll just draw random cartoons. Sometimes it'll be so deep about what I'm going through, and sometimes it's kind of meaningless. So I have a bunch of fish bones dancing on a cliff and some turtles. This is just like a stylized drawing, like how I enjoy doodling. These are my two favorite drawings. On the right is a self-portrait of me and my online personality. And then I took the photo on the left of a street on the Lower East Side. These are just cartoons and my friend's apartment that I stayed at and still stay at when I visit New York. These three girls are actually people that I met. So the drawing on the left we'll ignore, and this looked a little better before I drew it in color, but this guy's holding the sun and his girl's in a mouse trap. I went back with pens and pencils and I don't know why. But my style kind of changed. I got more confident and then I started mixing in different utensils. What do you call those? Like pens and markers and stuff. These are very ghostly. I loved this blue marker. It was so faint. And the drawings that I made with it were kind of scary. I did get into a scary phase, definitely, where I wasn't so much drawing what I was actually doing, more what I was feeling. And then I do have a few setting photos. It's my friend. I made her deranged. And these are friends and family at my parents' house that I also made deranged. I like the use of color in these, but they are scary. Lots of faces. That started to appear around this time. I was drawing faces on faces, and even a singular face would have multiple sets of eyes, and you can see that in my painting as well. So now we're into my second notebook, or maybe my third. My second we'll get to later, but this is a very busy notebook. I had a lot going on mentally. It was in Paris that I was drawing in this one, and I think I felt sensory overload with the French being spoken and, I don't know, just kind of observing more of the world instead of participating. I think it feels difficult to participate in Paris sometimes, and I'm not sure if anyone else feels that way, but I appreciate here that I was experimenting. I was adding water to markers and doing things that I would probably hate in my previous sketchbook, but I was just letting it happen in this one. I was actually sitting in a cafe here and I was trying to draw it, and it's funny what popped out at me, what made its way onto the page. This is a self-portrait that I don't like, but I do like the mouth and I do like the eyeballs, but overall I don't like that at all. Don't like that one either. Don't really like this one, but it just goes to show that there are not rules. We were eating croissants, so I drew croissant faces, and I drew a face and a face there, which is something that I was doing a lot and that I still do a lot, honestly. This is a self-portrait, and I love the use of color here. And I like that little mouth. This one is overwhelming. I don't actually love when my drawings get to be this overwhelming, but I do appreciate that I was experimenting. These sketches, all experimental, I think, with color and just seeing. I think I was honestly like scribbling and seeing what my hands did. I traced tickets. That one's fun, and this one's fun because it looks like nonsense. I love the guy with his tongue sticking out and his hand pressed up against the glass. So creepy. Sometimes I just get such a kick out of drawing creepy stuff. That's a sexy outfit, and that's a really cute little creature. This one's realistic. Mom and dad in the backyard. Still having trouble with proportion and with dimension, but I am practicing that right now. I start drawing in pencil here, which is interesting because of how chaotic and colorful the other pages were. I think I got sick of that. And this is a discotheque with me and a medium ugly guy, which is pretty realistic. But I love Cartoon World, and I love that I'm able to show direction here. That's another thing that I've been practicing is movement. Again, we see it, and I actually am trying to depict the paranoia and agoraphobia that I sometimes get living in New York City. I'm not sure if anyone else gets that. It's so funny because people really are minding their own business in New York, but sometimes it can feel so overwhelming to step outside because you do not want to be perceived, and it feels like that is how it would go. And then no one looks at you. This is just a doodle, but I love saying the word nay. It's so funny to me. And then we have a creature who's like run flying through a city with a rose in his mouth. I don't know what made me draw that, but maybe I was feeling romantic and spooky. City slicker returning home in a getup that no one from the suburbs would understand. I really love this drawing. This is when I was actually heading home, so more of my real life. Does this hat indicate to you that I have worms in my brain? I love this drawing, and I love doing color to represent under eye bags or shadows there. I do that sometimes, but I like when I see it. This I posted on my story, and someone compared it to Shel Silverstein, and I really think it was the pen that allowed me to create that look. I think that what I draw and how it looks, how it comes out stylistically is so dependent on the pen that I'm using. And I've only now noticed that, but it's tough because I don't always have access to the utensils I want to use to make the drawing that I want to make. Like I want to draw in a certain style and I won't have the pen. This is another experimentation, and I don't actually love this one, but you know, I like that little guy in the corner. I do like this. This was something I drew on a ferry ride into the city, and I was experimenting with, what do you call it? Like the viewer is being perceived by the figures in the drawing. Everyone's looking at the viewer. It feels spooky and interactive, at least to me. At least that's what I was trying to do. And I had fun with this one because it's pretty abstract and surreal. They're saying things, but I'm not gonna read it. This was a bad version of that. They were supposed to be similar, but I just lost it. I lost my mojo. Here I know I was trying to make something with purple and green. I don't like this shade of green with that shade of purple anyway, but it didn't turn out how I wanted. This was my second notebook that I got in France. That was a coffee shop we went to in the Marais called Joho. And then I'm commenting here, I don't like this pen not inky enough. We did get some really weird marker colors and it was pissing me off so bad. That's us on the train to the south of France and me looking at the viewer. Chez Genet in the 11th, very cool. Reminds me, it feels like Le Dive was inspired by this place. And I love this drawing. I don't know what it is. But I was trying to figure out how to use the iridescent blue marker, and I used it as tear marks. To the left, that was little boys splashing my friend and I in the ocean. And that's another self-portrait. It says it's unclear. I really just be saying things. Oh. This is all from the south of France. Had some notes in there. I was using different colors to differentiate my trains of thought. But I did a lot of drawings from memory, not even anything so real, but like, I guess there was one of us floating next to the ship. We chartered a boat for the day. That one was a cartoon. It's a cookie for breakfast. Me crying, carrying my bags up 10 flights of stairs. Me in a cute outfit, confused at what time it was because I put my phone on military time. This looks nothing like you. That is so fucking beautiful. La poubelle. That means trash. And that is me. Okay, scarecrows and intergalactic. I'm too tired to walk home from here. This is a girl calling a guy out for his beach outfit. Because he's a hype beast. And then this was a restaurant that we ate at in the south of France. It's just a deranged cartoon, honestly. And I saw a cute ashtray like that. And I had quit nicotine. Clearly I was feeling something. I wonder what triggered that. I got on this train of thought about bouncy girls, like a genre of girl. They're so hot. And it's the type of girl who's willing to be bouncy and silly, so I dedicated a few pages to that concept. How can you tell who will bounce? It doesn't even really make that much sense to me in retrospect. But at the time, you are adults. Please don't stop the bouncy bounce. I like how these legs look. I need coffee bad. You need segments. We will share this teeny tiny coffee because we are delicate, teeny tiny coffee girls. Then the drawing to the left is trash. I know when a drawing's trash. Like, I look at it and I know that I was pissed off when I made it. This was me trying to draw cute outfits for no particular reason. Other than I wanted to become a fashion designer because I was so moved. That is a good pair of pants right there. My best friend and I in Jardin Tuileries drawing this big fat statue. I like these. I like the style of these. Chic. More notes. Just really... Oh, this guy was creepy on us. Drew him. We were in a jazz cafe and I drew that. I use lots of color and layers when I say I do. While I was in France drawing these rooms, I was using lots of color. And that jazz cafe actually came up on TikTok after we were there. We were so proud. We were proud that we went there, stumbled in without the wreck. I also draw a lot of monsters because they're very forgiving. Here's another little spot that we were in. It was not this full of life. It was really late while we were there, so I filled it with a bunch of people and ghosts, and it was an interdimensional cafe. That was what I was trying to draw. It's like a... I like the use of color here. Dog is good. Club penguin. The leg cross in the back is good. Everything else is nonsense. But it's practice, and that's what these are at the end of the day. Just like free drawing and seeing what comes out. I think it's therapeutic. And then towards the end, I was practicing figure drawing. I had used up a lot of the ink in my pens because I was going so hard with them. So I had a few colors left, and this was the inkiest of all the colors, and I was inspired to do a bunch of figure drawings. And like I said, I was practicing like direction and movement and trying to depict that, and so I got an opportunity to really, oh, Quentin Tarantino foot. Very creative. But yeah, these colors don't really look that nice together, so it's not that nice to look at. I do love the figure drawings though. I went in and drew outfits on them, but this is a bit of storytelling, a bit of disobedience here, and then conformity. I went into a Resistance bookstore in France on my last day, and I was pretty inspired. I love these ones. But yeah, that looks like a fun party. This was the TSA line. Yeah, I was definitely having a good time with this collection of pages. I like those faces. And I really do like drawing in braces. I do it a fair amount. I like those. Then this was my in public journal. Didn't get a lot of use, but we were in a cabaret that was Picasso's haunt in Montmartre, and I drew that. I was trying to see if I could draw people and places. I had fun. This was a jazz club, and I drew there as well. My friend was doing the same. We were having fun drawing. These colors look nice. I love this blue marker. And this was my first jazz show, so screaming saxophone. Little aliens. I've been really enjoying filling up these sketchbooks. It's been fun to reflect and learn about myself, and I hope that this inspires you to do some drawing yourself. It's so much fun. It's the easiest way to feel productive and creative and to use your imagination. And there's no rules, which we love.